Hello, everyone. I just wanted to give you guys an update on a hearing that happened today in the FBI's Governor Whitmer Fednapping case. So, as you know, 5 men have been acquitted. 5 men were convicted in what was really like kangaroo courts. And so they're appealing their convictions. And right now, 3 of the men who were tried at the state level, those guys were moved to federal prisons. All 3 of them sent to different federal prisons outside of Michigan. And so their appeals lawyers have been trying to get into contact with them to do their appeals, which, by the way, have to be filed in a timely manner. And Paul's lawyer was unable to get a hold of him after he was moved from Michigan to a federal prison in Pennsylvania. His mail, Mr. Ambrose's legal mail that he was sending Paul, was being returned from the prison. It was being sent back to the lawyer, being marked like returned, and he didn't know why they weren't delivering Paul's mail to him, but he was trying to send him transcripts so that Paul can prepare for his appeal. Also, these guys should have access to a Michigan law library. Their lawyers should be able to contact them so they can have their appeals done. Joe Morrison's lawyer also was present, and that's what the hearing was about. And so what happened today, and mind you, this is before Judge Wilson, who's here, like, Judge Wilson presided over the case and they're appealing it. And so this is for some reason going through Judge Wilson instead of the Michigan Court of Appeals. But anyways, so they had a hearing on their placement in federal prison, and the government, the state of Michigan, they claim they have no reason why these guys were moved from Michigan to federal prisons in different states, despite not being charged federally at all. They had only been tried at the state level. They were not part of the federal case. And so it's very strange that they're claiming, the prosecutors are saying, the Attorney General's office of Michigan says they have no idea why that happened. So what happened today is Judge Wilson basically said that the prosecutors, the Attorney General's office in Michigan, has until December 1st to provide answers about why these guys were moved in the first place. So they're supposed to come up with that. So the government in the state of Michigan tried to argue that, oh, there's not proper jurisdiction. It's the Michigan Department of Corrections that handles this, and we don't have anything to do with it. So you would have to go through the Michigan Court of Claims. They made this absurd motion, and then they tried to say that none of these guys had been negatively affected or injured by being moved to federal prison. That is a lie. That's not true at all. Number one, let's bring up the... This is the chart for the MDOC, the Michigan Department of Corrections. Let me ask you guys, who do you see listed at the top here? Who is right at the top? Who is the head? According to this chart from the Michigan Department of Corrections website, who is the head of the Michigan Department of Corrections? That's right, Gretchen Whitmer, who is the alleged victim of the fake Fednapping hoax. And so I wonder if she had something to do with them being moved. You know, who might want to negatively affect the outcome of their appeal? Let's do a big think. Let's do a big think. So I think that if you filed a FOIA request, or if you were able to get the information, I'm sure you would find communications between the prosecutor's office, the Michigan Attorney General's office, and the Department of Corrections or the Bureau of Prisons, whoever is overseeing that, and to have these guys moved around, because I believe it's part of diesel therapy. And by the way, underneath her, the director there, Miss Heidi Washington, who's the director of the Michigan Department of Corrections, she was appointed by Whitmer. So this is a Whitmer appointee. And Whitmer is literally her boss and is the head of the Department of Corrections. So I just wanted people to know and understand that for this case, this is like a highly political case. It's a high profile case. And the other side is quite literally the federal government, the FBI, Department of Justice, and the governor of the state, right? Like the boss of even Judge Wilson, right? So it's deeply unfair. And yeah, they have till December 1st to explain why these guys were moved. But Judge Wilson is like, oh, this is just a communications issue. If we can solve the communications issue, this shouldn't be a problem. Like, no, they should be in Michigan where their families can meet with them easier and their lawyers can meet with them in person easier. There's no reason they couldn't be put in Nuevo County. You know, when Adam and Barry were at Nuevo County, I was able to do 40-minute long video visits with them. So there should be, it should be much easier for them. Why not just send them to Nuevo County pending their appeal? But of course, we know, we're not stupid, we know that this is what they want. They're trying to derail the appeals because they know they just lost. In their third and final trial, they lost. Those last three men were found not guilty. That's 5 total acquittals now by 2 different juries. So they understand and they know that these convictions, the 5 convictions that they did secure, are going to be overturned on appeal because they had to do all kinds of shady things to secure those convictions. For Adam and Barry especially, I mean, the things that were done at the retrial with the juror misconduct, that's going to be a major issue on the appeal. Now, I want to bring your attention to a Give, Send, Go fundraiser that was created by Joe Morrison's wife, Jada Morrison. And I'm going to include a link to this in the video description. And I'll just read this for you guys. This was a campaign created by Jada. Jada is Joe Morrison's wife. She's also the daughter of Pete Musico. On October 7, 2020, the FBI and DOJ announced the arrest of 14 men charged with conspiring to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The FBI used a network of 12 informants and 2 to 3 undercover agents to fabricate the appearance of a conspiracy where none existed. On that day in October of 2020, after being subjected to a terrifying and traumatizing pre-dawn tactical raid, I lost not just my husband, Joseph, but also my father, Pete. My husband and father were the original founding members of the Watchmen, a group initially founded in November 2019 for prepping before the FBI took over the group and consolidated power and control. My husband and father are innocent of the charges they were convicted of in what amounted to little more than a kangaroo court in a process that was incredibly unfair and slanted in favor of the government and state of Michigan. My father and husband were framed and entrapped by the FBI. They are currently political prisoners. Both Pete and Joe are traditional men and were the main breadwinners for our family. I have 2 small children with Joe, and I am trying to go to school while taking care of them. The legal and prison system has also put a major financial strain on us. My father, Pete, does not have proper, adequate legal representation. We are hoping to raise some funds to get him a private lawyer. The appeals for the last 5 men still incarcerated over this hoax must be done in a timely manner. The government and state of Michigan recently suffered another loss with their 3rd and final trial against Eric Molitor and the Null brothers, which they lost. All 3 were acquitted, making the total number of acquittals in the case 5 from 2 separate juries. The government, the state of Michigan, the Bureau of Prisons, the MDOC are doing everything they can to derail these appeals because they know that this case is bogus and that it will be overturned. Any contribution you can make to help our family fight this battle will be greatly appreciated, and all prayers as well. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, Jada Morrison. That is the daughter of Pete Musico and the wife of Joe Morrison, 2 men who were, as she said, framed and entrapped in this hoax. And so That's the latest. That's what's going on right now. I will keep everybody posted. They have to provide a response by December 1st. They have to explain why these men were moved in the first place, and they have to resolve the issue with the mail and them not getting their legal mail even. And by the way, this is not just happening to the guys in the state case, Paul, Pete, and Joe. This is also, and let's point out that Pete had no representation at the hearing today. There was nobody even arguing on his behalf of why was he moved to federal prison. We're trying to work on his appeal. Didn't even, he had no representation at this hearing. So let's just point out that. But it's not just that these three guys, Paul, Pete, and Joe, it's also Adam and Barry. Adam and Barry are in Supermax right now. As you guys know, they're now both in Florence AdMax. That's the latest move with Barry, who was in Terre Haute, Indiana, and is now in Florence, where Adam is as well. They also have their appeals going on, and their mail is also being tampered with. Barry especially. So this is very, very concerning. And people need to understand that it's not over. Just because we won this last trial and these last three guys were acquitted, that's good. But there are still 5 more innocent men in there who did not have a fair trial, who are trying to appeal, and their appeals are being tampered with, as well as their mail, and that's unacceptable. And something needs to be done about it. We do now have a new Speaker of the House. Finally, I had gone down. I was supposed to attend a hearing by the House Judiciary Committee. They were having an oversight hearing into the Bureau of Prisons, which like never happens. That was supposed to be October 24th. I went down there to the Rayburn building to attend the hearing, and I didn't realize that because there wasn't a speaker, that all of this stuff was postponed. So that hearing has been postponed. I was supposed to attend. I was going to let everybody know what happened and if anybody brought up this case and these guys not being able to talk to their lawyers. But that didn't happen. So I will keep everybody posted. When that gets rescheduled, I will be attending and I will let everyone know what happens here. But as far as the outcome of today's hearing, they have until December 1st to provide an explanation, and hopefully these lawyers are going to get the ability soon to talk to their clients to prepare these appeals, which again, I cannot stress enough, have to be filed in a timely manner. They have 1 year to file the appeal, and they already dragged getting the transcripts done. The transcripts were due in April of this year. In September, they still hadn't produced them all. So they're playing games, and they're constantly playing games. And that's where we're at. So we have to just keep the pressure on them and let everybody know what's going on. So if you can, please contribute to Jada's Give, Send, Go fundraiser. So they can get a lawyer for Pete. I know that's super, super important, and they just need help in general. It's very hard when you lose the main breadwinner of your family, especially when you lose 2 of them and you have 2 small children you're trying to raise while going to school. It can be very difficult. So, again, I'm including the link to that in the video description. And that's it for now. Have a good night, everybody.